Hey guys, thanks for coming to my channel. This is my first reflections video that I'm putting together for you. It's gonna go over my experiences of my motorcycle accident. As you could see here, we got our little friend Drago, Spirited Dragon. I'm not exactly sure how old he or she is, but figured I'd keep him in the video to, I don't know, join me. All right, so straight to the point. On October 26, 2017, I got into a really bad motorcycle accident. It was on a highway. We were pretty much just coming out of traffic. It was around between 45, maybe 55 miles an hour. Steady consistency of everyone driving. And I'm not sure what this pickup truck was into or what they were doing, if they were under the influence. I don't know, but they swerved into my lane. I don't remember if they had lights or not, but truthfully, that's one of my pet peeves right there, is when people don't use their turn signals. I really don't understand why they don't. But anyway, they swerved into my lane. I wasn't lane splitting, and it just hit me and knocked me off my bike. I don't remember exactly how many times I hit my head or how many times I stumbled and rolled, but I do remember that there were some cars behind me, and I was freaking out that, my instincts took over and just crawled over to the shoulder. It was a pretty long crawl. I just don't remember, but from seeing where the bike was and hearing from the witnesses and the police report, they said I had a pretty long crawl, which I didn't realize at the time. So it goes to show how your instincts and your fight or flight response takes over to protect you, survival skills, right? So I had an open fracture. The bone was sticking out, tibia was sticking out. There were some scrapes and scratches there, and I lost at least a quarter size of skin tissue. The tendons, the ligaments were all torn off. The fibula was the only bone that fractured. I was bleeding, obviously. My foot was hanging. However, my mentality, my mindset then is what's the most interesting. I was very calm, but there was also that side of me where I felt okay to die. Anyway, so let's talk real quick about my experiences before the accident. For several months, probably even over a year, I've noticed, without really paying too much mind to, of my way of being. I felt aimless. I felt lost. I felt like I was going in circles. A very familiar feeling I had many years ago, and I felt like that recently, and again within that time frame. And I wasn't sure how to interpret it. I was more mature, I'm older. I felt like I was going further in my life, but I wasn't sure how to interpret it, right? So I guess after feeling that way, I was just going with the motions, just playing it safe. Finished the master's, now let's go to the doctorate program. But deep down inside, I realized that's not the route I wanted to take. I ignored it. I kept lying to myself, convincing myself that this is exactly what I need to do, where I need to be a doctor. The ego side, basically, and societal norms was starting to kick into my psychological approach in doing things, right? Or it wasn't me, basically. It was just how I interpret everything else around me, making me to become a certain person. So I went to the hospital. I was there for 3 weeks. There's not a whole lot you could do with one foot. Peeing and pooping in front of nurses was so embarrassing, so awkward. I felt so weak. I felt like crap. But the fact that they were there to help me out really just changed my perspective of being so judgmental on myself and, of course, of others. So it's just one of those things. It's like crap, it's so awkward. I was so stubborn. I didn't want none of them to watch me or to help me, especially wipe my butt. It was an awkward experience, but I should note, or at least put a shout out if any of my the nurses there that were helping me, or the doctors, surgeons that were there that helped me out, I should really, I just want to say thank you. So in the hospital for 3 weeks, I was reflecting in my entire life. You know, it really takes a toll to want to do anything. You know, the fact that I can't do anything was starting to impact everything about me. You know, I'm a fitness guy. I like to be active. I like to do exercise and you know, work out with clients and helping them, you know, better themselves. But here I am, all jacked up and experiencing a severe traumatic event. And it was just brewing in my head like, crap, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Where am I going? So it kind of made me realize that, again, you know, my ego and the outcome focused drive was starting to kick in, and I wasn't living. So because of that, I wasn't living. I realized I wasn't happy. You know, I kept lying to myself. You know, I had that attitude, just get it done, just be driven. You know, what many other speakers or people would say, right? Just be driven, be focused, you know, push hard, keep going. I took that to heart. You know, I'm like, that's my attitude. Like, don't give up, never quit, all these other things that, you know, that help us perform and be better. But I took a moment to realize that none of that is always true. I think it's important for myself and others, hopefully, you know, whoever's watching can probably interpret that sometimes you also have to know when to let go. I feel like, you know, I was going the safety route, basically. You know, I finished master's, go to doctorate program, you know, 5 years, suck it up. Then I'll be able to have any job I want, you know, working in the field of psychology, clinical work. And again, with my ego kicking in, I kind of just wanted to have the titles and the experience and the confidence and the competence in working with, you know, athletes or anyone in general, but at a higher level. That's not necessarily true. In fact, I think so long as you have heart, knowledge, experience, and drive, you'll be able to help just about anyone. And I realized that. So I decided I'm done with the program, right? I was only there for a short amount of time, but I realized it's not for me, at least not right now. My mindset is too immature to be working and dealing with some people who have serious, legit, real problems, such as anxiety, depression, disorders of schizophrenia, and you know, anything along the lines with cognitive and neuropsychological behavioral disorders. I truthfully just don't feel like I have that ability to work with them. Maybe later, obviously, right? You know, I could learn and adapt. But right now, after that accident, it was like the biggest slap to the face to realize that this isn't for me. I feel like as we age, we tend to block out the dreams that we had as children, right? I think we're so focused on what everyone is doing and expects of us, as well as what everyone around us in their environment is doing. I feel like it's just so huge and such a powerful influence towards us as people in pursuing our goals and our dreams. I really believe everyone has some powerful purpose and ability in this world, right? I just really believe that. And the beauty of it and the amazing journey behind it is to explore and find that out. And for those, the majority of us are afraid to go deep within ourselves and then realize some truths and realities. No, that can't be. I was meant to do this, I was meant to do that, you know. And I think the problem is, again, as we age, we come to this restricted view. And even for the older adults, right, I think 50 or older, there's a thing called brain plasticity, that naturally their brains become a certain way and are adapted in a certain way. It doesn't mean they can't adapt or change and grow. It just means that they have a slower process of it. And of course, as they get older, 70 or higher, it's almost like stone to change their perspective in things. Again, it doesn't really mean that you can't, but it's just a lot more work to kind of help them realize certain things. All in all, so, you know, my experience basically just kind of helped me realize a few things in my own life. Made me kind of open up my eyes and just slow it down, just, damn, what it is that I want to do. And, there are a few things that I want to do. Personally, I haven't put it out there, but I'm still exploring that. Those are things that I want to do and do for me, not to say it and then have, if I did say it, what was my intent behind saying it and sharing it? Well, what's the point? It's mostly it starts to become an ego thing, like, oh, they didn't reciprocate or acknowledge what I shared. So it starts to become that thing. And then, sometimes people wonder why I don't tell people anything. It's just, it's not that I like hiding information. That's so stupid. I'm not going to, hide. It's just, it doesn't come to mind to tell anyone because it's not something I tell people. It's just something I do for me, Sometimes I'll share stuff, just to kind of keep my friends, my family, or my, sometimes even my clients, why not, right? It's a relationship, working relationship career that requires somewhat communication, right? So I got to be the example. I ask them to open up and talk to me. I kind of do the same. I try to be the example. So all in all, to wrap up, what this all means, again, can mean several things for everyone. Everyone can take this differently. Some might use this as a means to remind them of where they're going or if they're going in the right direction. My questions for you in the process of my own reflections, like, are you guys happy with your direction in life? Are you feeling like you're growing and developing? Things like that to reflect on, to kind of like think through. Finally, the second thing is pay attention to the signs. I don't have any religious beliefs or, practices. I'll just put it out there. I just feel like there is some type of universal vibe that's there, making sure that we are fulfilling our destiny. I don't know. I'm still figuring that out myself. But the point of me bringing that up is just simply pay attention to that. I think there are, in fact, a lot of signs that are trying to get you to pay attention to your path, your direction, and just to see, well, not to see, but just to get you to realize, like, hey, you're falling off track of your purpose, your gift, your ability, your special design. You're starting to slip out of that. So sometimes certain things just kind of come along your way to get you back on track. And it's very easy for us to not pay attention to that. So it's just the way nature is. Like Drago here does the most weirdest things without me even realizing it. But for him, that's his nature. Those are his instincts. And I think that's what makes him so cool. Or she. I don't know. All right, guys, I think I rambled enough. Again, this is just my first video on my reflections. I really don't care well, I shouldn't say I really don't care, but I would say it's not something important for me on its direction, if it worked, if it's a good video or not good video, or if it helped you, it was meaningful. It's not supposed to be like that. The point of the reflections is to share my story of my experiences in certain things, whatever, most specifically in the motorcycle accident. And then hopefully from there you can translate certain things in your own way, or take some bits of info here and there, or maybe being more understanding and towards other people. All right, so if you have any questions, comments, or anything that you want to share from your own experiences, please feel free to do so in the comments section. Or if you want to just talk to me privately, feel free to message me. Either way works, so long as that we stay in touch or somewhat communicate. All right, and if you found this video somewhat helpful or maybe could benefit someone, don't hold on to it, share it. All right, that's all I have. Till next time, take care. Peace.